Hey everyone. My name is Eric Noslowski, and I send about 5 to 6 million emails at a month at the current recording of this video. And we manage about 200,000 inboxes on behalf of our customers, a lot of them hyper-tight inboxes, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And so I think we've learned a thing or two, and we sit on top of a lot of data for people to learn from email deliverability. So if you just found this video, thanks so much for dropping in. I've been running my agency for about 4 to 5 years right now, and we do outbound emailing for very large enterprises, startups like Instantly.ai for Clay and all these other things. And this video is going to be about how we think about email deliverability for outbound campaigns. And so for those of you who've seen my videos before, you might be thinking, why haven't you posted a video in a couple of months? I've just been operating like crazy. Everybody should check out Cursor. I just thought that Cursor was an absolutely amazing tool. And I've just been building so many internal workflows and things like that with Cursor. But one thing we've been working on like crazy is our email deliverability and making sure that we always have fresh inboxes for our customers and we're using the best principles that we possibly can. So I thought it would be fun to go through this email deliverability guide that I just created. And I'm going to turn voice mode on so that I can even edit it so that anything that we talk about in this video that we go over might get added to it or edited. And then I'm going to make this document fully public facing as well too. So, oh no, that's not what I want to do. Cool. So let's just turn on the transcription here and we can jump into it. So basically what we're trying to do is try to create a system that we constantly have inboxes that we're using for customers, inboxes that are insurance inboxes for our customers, and then we monitor these things completely, right? Because no matter how good your email campaign is, some recipients are going to mark your email spam no matter what. And so you have to know that people will be marking you as spam and that you need extra inboxes to make up for this. We're seeing right now filters like Outlook and Proofpoint need longer warmups, and we need a system. We have built a system too, and I would highly recommend that you build this system with Cursor. I'm not even going to give the workflow. Everybody should just ask Cursor how to build this, and it's going to build it for you. But we also want to build a system that catches bad domains quickly so we can cycle in the insurance or the backups, and then we can cancel them, and then we can reorder more inboxes to stay on budget, but then also to always have more warming up for people, right? So most often when a new customer joins us, we promise that we build an infrastructure that can send 5,000 emails a day. But most of the time our customers start with 500 to 1,500 emails a day in their testing phase. The reason we start with 5,000 a day is so that we can scale a campaign if it's working really well, and so that we can always have a backup pool of inboxes, as well as not only having this backup pool, but many of our inboxes can now warm up for 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it might be, because we aren't touching them and we're using them and we're just letting them warm as we use our main batch of inboxes. And so the main thing that this video is going to go over is the key metrics that we're looking out for from a analytics standpoint so that we know when domains are going poorly and when we need to use our backup domains, then when we order new ones. Because I think all email deliverability in 2025 at this current point comes down to having way more inboxes than you think you need in reserve, sending from your main ones, being able to cycle in the new ones, and then knowing when to cycle things in and out and when to order more and everything so you can keep within your budget. Main thing is we buy domains from Porkbun and Dynadot. They have the most amount of sales on .com and .co domains. And we mostly buy our Hypertide inboxes. We mostly buy our inboxes from Hypertide. It's just really easy to get them set up. We also buy from Pager and Alphoric and Zapmail for Google inboxes as well too. And this is the main thing that you want to keep in mind. We always want to keep in mind this hot swap or disposable mindset. Treat sending domains as disposable nodes. We don't ever try to heal domains. We don't have enough time to do that for our customers. We need to just always keep insurance inboxes going and then just rotate in and out, just ready to go. Boom, boom, boom. A key thing to note as well as I used to talk about, one of the metrics that we'd be looking out for was tracking open rates. And we're actually going to stop tracking open rates. I thought that it wasn't the boogeyman like everybody says, but we were tracking open rates every Thursday and Friday for the past couple of weeks. And the replies and the positive replies would just drop on those days. And so I just didn't want to do it anymore. So we're just purely doing our domain tracking metrics based off of what we're going to talk about in this video. So these are our vendors. And this is the bread and butter of what we're looking at, right? Because if you're running your outbound campaigns and you set up an infrastructure, like I said, you expect to send 2,000 emails a day, but you have an infrastructure that can send 5,000 emails a day, and you have this batch of inboxes and domains that you're using over here, and then you have these other 3,000 over here. The main thing is to know, when should you cancel a domain? When should you rotate in a domain from your insurance pool? And when are you going to be ordering more? And the main thing that we're looking for are these signals. One is the campaign level reply rate. And so on a daily basis, we're looking for if overall replies in the campaign drop below 1%. We're looking at this on a daily basis. If it drops below 1%, we do something on a daily basis. Sometimes we have some wiggle room here. Maybe we'll go to 0.8% if we know if it's a hard market. But usually we're trying to go for overall replies, 1%, not counting out of office messages. Inbox reputation. If any inbox falls below 98%, we remove it from our sending. This is an automated thing that we're doing right now. But also every week, when we also do a domain level reply rate check, if more than 10 of the inboxes on the domain are falling below a 98% reputation, most often they won't pass this test as well too. So then they'll get removed, but that's just something else that we're looking for. But this is the most important thing that we're looking at, is on a weekly basis, every Friday, I pull all of the sending statistics on a domain level of every active domain that we're using. And if the domain's replies are less than 1%, allowing for a little bit of a small buffer, like if it's 0.8%, it's probably fine. But if it's lower than 1%, or it's in the bottom 10% of our domains, we treat that as failing. And so then we remove these inboxes from the campaigns. We also track the bounce rate being under 2% as well. And if it's over 2%, then we remove it from the campaigns. But basically, we're watching for all of these signals, that if something happens with one of these signals, we're removing that inbox from the campaign, cycling in one of our inboxes that's already warmed up for way longer than 2 weeks because it's in our insurance pool, and then ordering another one as well, so that we can keep the budget the same. But then also, we're always bringing in new warmed up emails. We don't really use a ton of spam placement tests, just because it's just another factor. And I've just seen that you could land an inbox in a spam placement test, and then, I don't know. It's just not as good of a signal as I've seen. It probably is a better signal than I've looked at, but because we're monitoring all these other things, every time I take action on one of these things and then push in one of our insurance inboxes, the reply rate for the campaign goes up, and I'm happy. So this is why we're monitoring these 4 things. You could put in spam placement tests if you so choose. With hypertied inboxes, we do have this SOP on batching inboxes because we send so much volume and we're buying so many inboxes with hypertied that we are seeing that it makes sending through Smart Lead sometimes slower. So we do have this batching SOP that I'm not going to go over here. They have a bulk operation thing called smartlead.hypertied.io or instantly.hypertied.io. That's really great. Oh, and then I just wanted to talk about delivering to hard to reach inboxes, right? So we do recognize that Outlook and Proofpoint and all these other types of ESPs are hard to inbox into, and we're seeing the same thing. For right now, honestly, on day one, when we launch campaigns, we're not thinking about this at all because we're thinking about ROI positivity for our customers. We don't really take on customers who are targeting only like Fortune 500 or Fortune 5000 type companies as well too. So already we're looking for customers who have a large TAM. So maybe I'm a little bit different here. But so basically on day one, we're not really thinking about this. If we are not getting an ROI for our customer based on the positive responses that we see to start coming in, that's when we start changing things. And we'll start sending to Gmail only at first. And Lead Magic just came out with a really cool tool called inboxscore.com that you can check if it's a Google inbox or it's a Outlook inbox or whatever it might be. You can also ask ChatGPT to figure out what the MX records are because Google has an endpoint that you can even use as well too. And so people ask me this all the time, but basically from the get-go, we're not doing anything about it. But if we see that it's going to have a huge impact on our customer's campaign, we will only send to Gmail for the first 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll keep all those inboxes warming while we just send to those Gmail inboxes. And then once inboxes have crossed a 4-week or a 6-week warm-up period when we basically need to start sending to Outlook again, we will then take out the inboxes that we're using originally, regardless of how healthy they are, and then swap in the inboxes that have been aging for a really long time, because we're seeing that domain age is really the thing that's piercing through these Outlook and Proofpoint emails, as well as the copy as well too. Enzo Carasso is sending emails in Europe and is saying that there's not a problem with Outlook in Europe. So there's probably something that the spam filters are picking up with the English language as well too. This is also anecdotal, but I know for a fact that domain age is really important. And Nick Abraham has also reported that keeping the copy short when trying to target Outlook inboxes is also important as well too. But anyway, thank you guys for, if you found this video useful, it helps me make this SOP a lot better. But then also, I hope this helps other people. But the net of this is you should be starting with more inboxes than you think. Have a way to be monitoring for which inboxes are going well and which inboxes are underperforming. Always keep those insurance inboxes going and then cancel the inboxes quickly so you can keep your budget in line while also ordering more fresh inboxes on fresh domains. And that's currently what we're doing for deliverability on our outbound campaigns on behalf of our customers. And I hope this could help you do the same thing as well. Thanks for watching.